Hello and welcome back to LendAPI Academy. My name is Kay, and in this episode, I will be showcasing the LendAPI multi-applicant flow and how to configure that for your application. The LendAPI multi-applicant flow is used primarily to allow for applications that require more than one cosigner or more than one beneficial owner to apply. We've enabled this multi-applicant flow to allow for the user to easily be able to turn this on and create this dual application process for their application. So when you're ready, simply navigate over to your product studio and start the multi-application process. To get started, we're going to select one of our normal application products, take our Buy Now Pay Later product here, and we're going to turn this product into a multi-application flow, meaning that we are going to divert this product at some point in this application to allow for the user to apply with more than one application, or for them to instill a cosigner. In this case, what we're going to do first is we are going to create a cosigner flow for this. So in order to do that, first things first, I'm going to go in and create a cosigner. So first things first, I'm going to come in here and create a cosigner variable. Of course, you do not have to do this in order to implement the multi-signer flow, but it does create a more synchronous or authentic experience for the user. So what will happen is I'm going to come in here and add a new variable into my product studio. And I will call this variable cosigner. And this will be a Boolean. The reason I want to create this is for this multi-applicant product, I am going to allow the users to create a secondary product within Product Studio, meaning that it is outside of the traditional Buy Now Pay Later. And to do so, I want to trigger the secondary product through an email, which is why I want the cosigner to appear, or for the user to indicate whether they have a cosigner. If they have a cosigner, we will generate a cosigner email. So now that I have my cosigner variable, I'm going to come back here to the LendAPI variable here, and I am going to indicate where I want the cosigner information to actually live. So I think I'm going to put it inside of the bank details page. So I'm going to come in, find my cosigner, and then I'm going to add this into the bank details page. Now, with this, I'm also going to change this label to direct a question. Do you have a cosigner for this application? This is a great way for the lenders to also be able to create a more comprehensive application. So meaning if for some reason the borrower does not have enough cash flow or high enough credit, they can always have a cosigner onto their application to help them be approved and increase the overall approval scores. So now that I have a cosigner, I'm going to ask for the cosigner's or co-borrower's email. So something you'll see here is actually the LendAPI co-borrower flow already has a lot of what we call dual applications or dual variables in here. So these are, again, built-in variables to help facilitate the co-borrower experience. The reason for these variables is because they are leveraged to call the third-party integration vendors like Plaid, TransUnion, Experian, and so on. So if you've watched any of the previous videos or familiar with the LendAPI system, you'll see that there are a couple of variables in here, like SSN, with the LendAPI logo next to it. These are what we call the anchor variables. These variables are leveraged to pass the information to the vendors. Since we've launched our multi-applicant flow, we've also done so for our co-applicant information. So when you pull in these variables and the user inputs the social security number or first last name, you can use this to then make a call to secondary or external vendors to pull back that data. So that is the reason why we have these built-in co-applicant flows. And you'll see these are all predating with the co-dash variable name. So now that we have this, we're going to create another variable in our model studio, and we're going to leverage the co-signer email. So the reason for this is because we are creating what we call a dual application or child application. If you want, this is used mostly for people who want to have the cosigner fill out an application themselves, in which case we can email the secondary application to their co-borrower or multi-applicant or beneficial owner. If you are creating an application where you want cosigner or you want the main applicant to put in the cosigner information, most times you may not need this cosigner email, but we always recommend to provide it because there are steps in applications where you require multiple people to sign or for them to receive notice of adverse action if they are in fact a cosigner, in which case email is important. So we're going to create this variable as a string, and the display type is going to be email, and we're going to ask the user to input this into Product Studio. So going back to our details page, we're going to ask for the co-owner email, and we'll make this conditional. Let's add in the label, cosigner's email. And we're going to make this conditional, meaning that this will only appear if they've indicated they do in fact have a cosigner. Is true. So if they indicate on the previous field that there is cosigner, we will show them email, and then this will be the first page where we divert the flow. Now, because this is going to be another application for the cosigner altogether, what we need to do is we need to come into Product Studio, and we need to create another product, right? So we will create another child product. We'll call it the cosigner Buy Now Pay Later. And we'll utilize our custom template. And then now this has officially become our cosigner or our child product. So this will be the product that the user fills out when they are the cosigner of the main applicant. And I will show you how to connect the two together. So before we do that, let's build out our cosigner applicant. So we will make this a very simple two-step process. The first of which is going to be our borrower information, and where we will ask for the co-borrowers first and last name, as well as their social security number, their date of birth, and their annual income. As this is the same exact flow we are leveraging for the main borrower. So we want to call this all the same information for the co-borrower. So for now, what I'll do is I will go ahead and save this. I'm going to add another tab, and I will call this the bank authorization. So on the second tab, I'm going to add in the plaid widget. We want the co-signer to give us their bank details as well. And because all of this lives within the LendAPI ecosystem under your system, because all this lives within the LendAPI ecosystem under your sign-in, it's using the same plaid credentials. So you don't have to set up another plaid. It uses the same exact vendors and management systems you've already created. So with that, we are setting up our plaid auth, and I think this should actually wrap up our two-step process for the cosigner because they are not the main applicant. They do bear some of the financial responsibility. We want to keep this as clean and as fast as possible. So with that, I'm going to end the application here today. And then in our next video, I will show you how to connect the two applications together and where to divert and set up our email templates. So with that, as always, thank you for watching the LendAPI Academy, and please check out our YouTube and follow us for more content. Thank you. Bye.